As if you needed another reason to stop at the processed food in the new year. Okay, a popular food dye linked to intestinal inflammation and colitis. Okay, what is it, red 40 or something like that? Because I've been seeing that one pop up for a minute. Okay, so research shows that long-term consumption of Allura Red. Oh, it's just red in general. It is red 40. Got it. Nailed it. Woo! A commonly used synthetic color additive could trigger inflammatory bowel disease, IBDs, and colitis. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no kidding. Anything that you can't properly enunciate, anything that they need to run a specific name in order to obfuscate you from the truth, it's probably not something that you want to be consuming. Also known as Red 40, AR is one of the 9 synthetic color additives approved by the US FDA. Of course it is. Oh, it's fine. It's great. The lobbying check cleared. You guys just go ahead and roll with it. Don't worry. It's fine. Manufacturers prefer synthetic dyes over natural ones extracted from animals and plants because they cost less. Of course. More money to lobby with. And provides a more vivid and uniform color and doesn't introduce unwanted flavors. That's why I've been seeing, okay? Because I'm recording this not that long after Christmas, ergo, Christmas decorations and all that stuff as well. Oopsie, just about said a bad word. But no, it's funny, right? Because to get some stocking stuffers, some mints and some candies and some chocolates to throw in a stocking, whatever. You go and you take a look at some of the old candy that's down there and some of, what do they call, real fruit? Yeah, real fruit candies. It's funny, right? Because they got all natural flavors. Even though natural flavoring is an additive that is anything but natural that you can put in there. So if you can market it as a natural flavor, there you go. Real fruit juice. What do you mean by that? Okay, is the entire candy made of real fruit juice? Or is it just a fraction? It's very funny how much stuff they can get away with when it comes to their marketing. Okay. So you have to pay attention to that if you are keen to this type of stuff. But also, something new that I've been seeing as well, especially in the advertising of this stuff, is all natural colors as well. So when I seen an article like this pop up, it's like, is this a real thing? Like, was anybody really thinking that gummy bears were a natural color and flavoring? Like, I just thought it was all, figured out that, it's just created in a factory. Like, how could you be convinced that it's like, well, it's shaped like a lemon? Lemon gummies do not fall off of trees, my guy. Come on now. In a study published on December 20th in Nature Communications, scientists from McMaster University in Canada, Toronto area. I think McMaster's down there. Yeah, that's in the GTA. Investigated the impacts of exposure to AR on gut health. Using an experimental animal model, they found that chronic consumption of the colorant could cause mild intestinal inflammation in mice. The dye directly disrupts gut barrier function and increases the production of serotonin. So it's going to make you sleepy. A hormone and neurotransmitter found in the gut, which subsequently alters gut microbiota composition, leading to increased susceptibility to colitis, the scientists said in a press release. For the study, the scientists examined the effects of several most widely used food dyes on serotonin production, including AR, Brilliant Blue, FCF, Sunset Yellow, FCF, and Tetrazine Yellow. Okay, while these dyes had all promoted serotonin secretion, AR was found to have the most pronounced effect. Interesting. Why red? I don't know, maybe we'll break it down. Scientists then moved to feed groups of mice with different diets for 12 weeks. One group was fed with normal food as control, another was fed with AR-infused food every day, and others received AR-infused food just 1 day per week. The amount of AR added to the diet was calculated according to the levels deemed acceptable for humans. When colitis was induced via exposure to chemicals 7 days after feeding, scientists found that the group of mice occasionally consumed AR, most similar to the pattern of humans, didn't become more vulnerable to colitis, but in high concentrations, I would imagine. Okay, those who ate AR-infused consecutive 12 weeks, however, developed mild colitis. Interesting. Consecutively for 12 weeks. So if you're dining on AR-infused food stuffs, well, for 3 months consecutively, you might have a problem. Same effects were also observed in mice when AR was added to the water instead. So it's just the additive in general. It has nothing to do with food. Okay, AR bad for you. Further investigate the effects of early exposure to AR, the scientists performed another controlled experiment by feeding 4-week-old mice with either standard or AR-infused foods for 14 weeks. As a result, they found that AR-exposed young mice developed mild inflammation in their colons, with the genes regulating antimicrobial responses less actively expressed. Now, this is particularly important since synthetic colorants are a convenient and low-cost alternative for food manufacturers to make food even brighter and more appealing to the customer, particularly young children. Dun, dun, dun! Won't somebody please think of the children? Walio Khan, okay, the study's leading author and professor at McMaster's Department of Pathology and Molecular Medicine, said these findings should alert customers to the potential harms of food additives. Yeah, imagine that. And again, my standard disclaimer stands on this stuff, okay? If it has more than a handful of ingredients that's on there, if it doesn't look like something that comes out of the ground, if you are offered a salad, a box of salad, and it just doesn't specifically have different kinds of lettuce in there, okay, and they're trying to purport to be a miracle drug that's on there and it's infused with a bunch of different essential nutrients and vitamins, just steer clear of it. Eat things that look like the things that come out of the ground, okay? And if you want to go into the middle aisles of the supermarkets, okay, where all of the bad stuff is, if you take a look at that ingredient list and there is more than a half dozen things on it, or if there's anything on there that you cannot pronounce, if it isn't a normal vocabulary word that's on there, toss it back. It's not for you. Bad oils, bad fats that are in there that are going to cause inflammation. And for all the people, especially over on the main channel, I did a video. It didn't really, take off. It didn't light the world on fire or anything like that, but it was something that I care about a lot, especially on this channel. Okay, your diet can affect different mental conditions, okay? One had to do, she was a professional wrestler, still is, okay? And some activist journalists are out there trying to get her canceled because she shared a video of, I believe it was I think he's an RD or something like that, a registered dietitian, okay? He at least knew his stuff. Like he was a practicing and a researching physician of some form or fashion, saying that ADD, autism, and there was a link between that, gut health, and processed foods as well. People trying to discount the fact that your diet has a heck of a lot to do with your overall health and wellness, and just saying, well, I've got ADD and it's something that gets better or worse every day, and they just post their sob story. And it's like, why don't you just address the video instead of just the headlines or whatever, these disingenuous hacks try to post over top of it to put shame on her name. Why not do some research of yourself? No, you just want to go along with everything that's cool and you just want to share your victimhood. It's easier to do it that way, right? But let's just wrap this up. The literature suggests that the consumption of Allura Red also affects certain allergies, immune disorders, and behavioral problems in children, such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I legitimately, before I went into that story right there, had no idea that would come up, but there you go. But I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist, but they probably say worse things about me anyways. It has long been suspected that exposure to synthetic food dyes at a young age can cause ADHD, according to a California government 2021 review of synthetic studies over a preceding decade. Consumption of synthetic food dyes, including AR, did cause hyperactivity and other neurobehavioral issues for at least some children. But yeah, that was always coupled with, sugary foods as well. Sugary junk foods, snacks, okay? So it's like, it doesn't have anything to do with the sugar. But given the fact that that it's AR in water as opposed to even just is specifically in food, and that you get the similar results, well, now you can draw the conclusions that it's the food dye, not so much everything else, not all of the processed foods itself. Not trying to run cover for that stuff as well, but if you can go ahead and identify the problem, you could at least fix it, because obviously I'm not going to be walking around just knocking Twinkies and knocking Kit Kat bars out of people's hands. Skittles. Knocking bags of those out of people's hands. It's funny because there was a lawsuit against that, and then that got tossed. Then you get more of these studies coming out, and it's like, well, food dyes are actually pretty bad. Meanwhile, the guy that was filing the lawsuit against Skittles is like, I told you so. But I guess, it's not for the courts to decide. It is AR is present in a wide range of foods and beverages, including cereals, dairy products, pudding, candy, chewing gums, soda, energy drinks, and confections. All of those have one thing in common. Don't eat them. They're terrible. do your research, just stick to some real common sense diet tips, okay? Bags, boxes, verboten, middle aisles in a grocery store, leave them there. Leave them there for lesser people to pick up, okay? Half a dozen things on an ingredient list, and then everything needs to be pronounceable. If it doesn't look like it does when it comes out of the ground, it's not for your plate. So, with all of that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.